All right, this is the 2023-24 Coaches Power Ranking List. So we rank players all the time, and we rank everything from movies to everything else. This is my Coaches Power Ranking List. And we're going to rank the coaches from best to worst, the top 5 coaches. And this will be based some on value for money in terms of what they're paying the coaches, and where a program is at and where the program is going. So without further ado, the number 1 coach in college basketball is none other than Dawn Staley, who has South Carolina rolling. She is only 53 years old and already has 2 national championships. It seems pretty much a certainty that she will get her 3rd championship. It's just a matter of time. And that time might be now, as they have been impressive this season, taking on all comers in their non-conference and winning every game. Many thought South Carolina would be rebuilding after losing a talented senior-led roster, which was led by Aaliyah Boston and Zaya Cook. But no, they have just simply reloaded. As well, she's not afraid to use the portal as she used this to address their major flaw from the previous season, which was 3-point shooting. And what do you know? They are now 3rd in the nation, shooting 41% from behind the arc. She seems to have mastered the art of mixing high school recruits with the portal, landing the number 6 recruiting class in 2022 and the number 2 recruiting class in 2023. And she currently has the number 2 class in 2024. As well, her portal work has been good, landing Cordoso and Tahina Pau, as well as Sakima Walker, who might be an underrated catch in the portal who will pay dividends next year. Staley not only scores talent, but she seems to have a unique talent of getting players to be willing to bide their time. Staley also has the ability to crack the whip if she feels a player is not putting in on defense and bends them with little blowback compared to what other coaches receive. And in large part, that is because she has done it on every level, which includes as a player, a national team coach, and building South Carolina, which was down before she arrived in 2008. Lastly, it's worth noting that women's college basketball is lucky to have Staley, as she gives the sport coverage when you consider that 43% of the players in women's college basketball are black, but they are clearly underrepresented in the coaching ranks. Number 2 on my coaching list is none other than Kim Mulkey, whose move from Baylor to LSU has been more successful than anyone could have imagined. She joined elite company with Pat, Geno. Now she is costly, as she just got a big fat payday from LSU and is now the highest paid coach at over $3 million a year. Winning a championship is never having to say you're sorry, and LSU is not sorry and is happy to pay Kim, as she has the Tigers rolling, as she has worked the portal to rebuild LSU quickly, but as well has crushed it in recruiting, landing the number 1 class in 2023. Mulkey seems like one of the rare coaches that might be able to age well, as she runs the program like a head football coach. She leaves the recruiting and game planning to her assistants, but watches everything like a hawk. And if any issue develops, then she stomps it out, whether that being a player not playing defense, or if the assistant coaches don't set the clock to the correct time in the practice gym. In addition, she is hard as nails with the media and won't take a backward step, but she does it with charm that makes her FUs almost seem nice. And the local media and TV commentary is happy to go with it, as she's not the coach that turned her back on Brittany Griner. No, she is the coach that dresses up in flamboyant outfits, dances with recruits to help get them signed, and helps ensure that they get paid via NIL. Number 3 is Cori Close of UCLA. Now, I imagine I will get smashed for this, which is fine, but here is my reasoning. Cori is good value for money as she is the lowest paid coach on this list, making just over $700K a year. And she has done a slow, steady build of UCLA that has them on the verge of breaking through. Through the years, she has been smart about going after foreign players to help build the program, and recruiting is now starting to flourish as she now has the number 3 class in 2024, in addition to landing the number 1 class in 2022, which is now ridiculously good, as she's also scored Lauren Betts in the portal just a year later. And now all the parts just seem to fit, and this might be UCLA's year to break through. Now, obviously, scoring Betts through the portal was a major coup, but what struck me was how Betts talked about doing Mind Gym and how this helped her rebuild her confidence. This is the mental training program that Close introduced when she took over as coach in 2011. Fifth-year guard Charisma Osborne says that there's no other team in the country that works harder on mental training than the Bruins do. The program emphasizes mental toughness. They discuss ways they can earn unshakable confidence. They develop individual routines to help refocus after bad plays. They stress to players that it's impossible to outperform their self-image. Now, this all seems like common sense to put in place, especially in a new world where the players are trying to play in the age of social media. But I do think it's very smart and has set her program up well. And she is clearly a coach trying to work and understand the modern athlete instead of just trying to bemoan them. Now, 4 and 5 on my list are a tie. It is Geno Auriemma and Tara VanDerveer. Yes, how dare I put them so low on this list? I imagine I will get blowback as they are both living legends. But do you think their programs look better positioned than the ones I listed above? Geno is now 69 years old and Tara is 70. To his credit, Geno was brutally honest and conceded that he was not the coach he was when he was younger, and it was much easier to relate to players when you are younger.
As you get older, I think, and you get further away from your players in age and further away from understanding them like you used to, they get further away from understanding what you're talking about.
One of the things that still makes these two great coaches is probably the thing that hinders them as well, and that being they have no fear. The strength of that is you know what you've done in the past has worked, and you won't panic if your team is losing. So basically, you're able to stick and have a career worth of knowledge to go back to and lean on when situations get difficult. But at the same time, fear helps coaches innovate and adjust. For instance, Lynn Roberts at Utah was having a bad run and was on the verge of getting fired. She took a deep dive, took a look at herself, and embraced analytics and changed Utah's program around. VanDerveer attempted to go old school with Lauren Betts and potentially lost, or probably did lose, a generational talent because she had the plan to develop her slowly and gradually increase her minutes. And what do you know? Betts is now playing for her rival. Geno supporters will say that he's been hindered by a bad run of injuries, which is true. But I think it's fair to say that UConn has struggled to develop its big players up front, and they are currently paying the price for their biggest failure, Amari DeBerry. Did they misread her talent and personality during the recruiting process, or has her talent been beaten down? Either way, as Bill Parcells says, you are what your record is, and they have not won a championship since 2016, which is not good enough for UConn, and the last tournament they got eliminated in the Sweet 16. Anyway, your comments, your poison. I imagine I will get a lot of this daring to put Geno and Tara down in number 5 on this list. But anyway, give it to me. Happy to have it. Your thoughts, your poison, it's always welcome. Good night.